Hey everyone, this is Invader One again with a quick tips video on how to handle platinum difficulty for Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. And this time we decided to challenge ourselves and handle Firebase Hydra against Cerberus faction. And just showing you, we actually grabbed a new player. His name is 13 Roses. It's his first time. We were playing with him earlier. We played a goal with him just to try to see his skills, and he actually did such a great job. And we just wanted to bring him on. So here I'm just showing you what I got. I'm bringing the Demolisher, which is the engineer, the new N7 engineer, just so that I could have a pylon to kind of provide a lot of ammo, so I could bring arc grenades into the game. We also have an infiltrator, which is 13 Roses, who's got arc grenades also, and we got another Demolisher who he's gonna have his pylon by one side of the control room that we are managing in the Hydra map. Now we also have a Geth engineer who is providing his turret to kind of continuously heal the team. So we have, what we're trying to do is ensuring that, number one, the team has a way to heal itself, and number two, that we have a very defensive strategy, but number three, that we are also able to quickly and effectively take down the enemy shields. So first off, second off, I would like to let you guys know this is not a speed run. What this is, I've decided to create videos to show people how to defeat the platinum difficulties in a very smart and intelligent way. Now, I want you to note something, and in platinum, everything spawns so quickly. So the moment that you get into Hydra and you want to take this kind of strategy, this defensive posture, you have to go really quickly to the control room. This is this area right here where we're at, and what I'm doing is I'm dropping my supply pylon. My other buddy is also dropping his here by the entrance, so like that, if he's sniping or catching any enemies out there, he can go right ahead and be constantly healed. His shields are constantly healed by the pylon, and yet at the same time, the pylon is right next to him, so it's always giving him grenades and all. And our buddy who's got the arc grenades on the other side can also have a constant flow of grenades. So the strategy here is to take down enemy shields as quickly as possible so that we can damage their health and damage their armor. Now, you want to do this by by having kind of like a tech team, kind of like we have here. We have engineers who are bringing arc grenades, so the Demolisher is really good for that. The Quarian males are excellent, either the engineer or the infiltrator. Either one are fine, because what you want to do is you want to make sure that you bring those arc grenades. And now the purpose of the arc grenades are so that when any enemy comes in, the Atlases, the Banshees, especially the Banshees, you want to take down their barriers as quickly as possible. Once you take down the barrier as quickly as possible, everything else is easy. If you notice that the moment I see any barrier, the moment I see shields, I am throwing my arc grenades immediately. I also have disruptor rounds. I put the highest disruptor rounds that I could, and I'm making sure that I have a long-range sniper rifle, because we are taking a defensive posture. I'm also making sure that I also have some kind of assault rifle that gives a punch. And this time I have the Typhoon. My other buddy behind me, the Geth engineer, he just brought his Widow. And he also brought the new Acolyte pistol, which a lot of people dislike. But one good thing that the Acolyte pistol does, it takes down barriers and shields almost instantly, one shot. So what he is doing with the Acolyte pistol is the moment that he sees an enemy, the moment that he sees a phantom, he is just shooting it out. I think throughout the video you will see that. You'll see like a little sliver of just shooting out in front of me from behind me or anything like that. That is him. He's actually right behind me. I'm taking a defensive posture here, but I'm also sniping and making sure I'm taking enemies down before they get to me. The moment the moment we do see a Banshee, though, we call it out, you know, immediately. But if you notice here, I got my arc grenades going, and my pylon is constantly feeding me more grenades. Again, this is a strategy that you may want to take for Hydra, because if you're not doing biotics, you could have a full biotic team here, which that's another kind of that is another challenge that I want to do. I want to have a full biotic team. I think I'm not going to do it in this map, though. I want to do it in Dagger, and wait for that video. That video is going to be really freaking cool. But besides that, and this time we took more of a tech approach. Our approach was to have some kind of support that is constantly healing our shields. We're all spec'd out for health, and shields, and our fitness. And we all have, disruptor rounds, which allow us to take down shields. I have arc grenades, and our buddy 13 Roses on the other side has his arc grenades also. He's just going around and just throwing grenades all over the place. The good thing that he's using the Korean male infiltrator, so when you cloak and then shoot the grenade, they're just so much more powerful than even mine, because he has a damage bonus. So that's actually a great thing. So you see here, I'm actually, I brought my Typhoon. I brought a power weapon. You could bring, like the Claymore. It doesn't have to be the Typhoon. I'm just really having a lot of fun with this gun. I just got it, and just having a lot of fun. Now, if you see, we got, one of the most horrible objectives here in Platinum, but we got an infiltrator. So we got a new guy who just come on with us, 13 Roses, and he's right away going over there. And like I told you guys in the previous videos, you want to have one guy going mid-range. You see what I'm doing? I'm deviating the enemy, but I kind of peeked out a little bit too much. Obviously, don't do that, guys. Don't get down like I did. But I'm going mid-range, and you see I'm bringing the enemies to me. I want to make sure that they are not looking at him, because it doesn't matter how much his cloak is for duration. The duration of the cloak right now in Mass Effect 3 does not last longer than 11.2 seconds, and that's not enough to go right ahead and finish the device. So you see he's doing the devices right now. You can see it on the screen on the top right. He's going at him, but we're trying to draw the enemies to us so that he can have a clear shot. And I did go mid-range, but at this moment I didn't need to, because the device is really close to us. So we're still drawing all the enemies to us, and my other buddy Endo on the other side is making sure that he is looking at him, making sure that he is okay. If he needs to go out there and shoot a missile or throw any grenades, he can do so. And his engineer is spec'd out different than mine. His engineer is spec'd out so that he has both arc grenades. He has arc grenades spec'd up all the way up, and he also has his homing grenades, I think, to level 3. So at least he can use the homing grenades for armor and health, and he uses the arc grenades to take down shields and barriers immediately, which is the main strategy here. You want to take down shields and barriers, and you'll see that when right here I have disruptor rounds. So you see I am throwing arc grenades at this Atlas, making sure that its shields are down. I also have disruptor rounds, so look how quickly these Atlases go down, and we all focus fire, and you see also that his pylon is healing me. I mean, we just have a really nice setup here. We're kind of camping out here, but we're also having fun. We're going back and forth, and our buddy at the same time, 13, look, he's just finishing up the device. Right now we need to cover him, so we are absolutely on top of it, taking down shields, taking down the shields of the Banshees, making sure that before we just whale all the bullets that we have, we are ensuring that we are taking down shields as much as we can. Brutes don't have any shields. That's okay. That's why we have powerful weapons. And again, you could bring your Claymore. You could bring your shotguns. Shotguns are great. Against Reapers or against big targets like Atlases. You have the Claymore. You have the Wraith is a really good shotgun. Even heavy snipers you could bring in, like my buddy over here had the Widow, the Black Widow. You could bring those out, to hit the Atlases really hard. And that's what you want to do. But our strategy here is take down shields immediately, and then we take care of everything else. Take care of the armor, and at the same time we have, as you saw, my shields just got back up because my buddy, he has his Geth engineer and he's got his turret being defensive, not offensive. He has it set up for nothing but health and shields to continuously help regenerate, our team's health and shields. You notice that we were able to finish the devices. We had an infiltrator. I definitely recommend the courier male. Why? Because he can do the devices, and at the same time, he's got the arc grenades. So it's like we got a lot of grenades going. We have a lot of tech, going at the same time. Even our Geth engineer has overload to make sure that we're taking down shields. So here we go. You see that I'm on this side. My other two buddies on the other side, and we're just, I'm just throwing arc grenades. I see the Banshee immediately. I'm just throwing arc grenades. You see, her barriers went down almost instantly, and now that her barriers down, look how quickly she's going. And this is platinum, by the way, guys. This is not, gold or anything else. This is, the hardest difficulty that you can find on Mass Effect 3. So, as you saw the Banshee, look how quickly it went down. And if you saw the little sliver also past me, that is my buddy behind me using the Acolyte. Again, it's just one of those guns that you really have to get used to. I'm not exactly sure why they designed it the way it is. It's just not a fun gun at all to play with. I mean, I recommend to use it, in all honesty, as a side gun. It weighs nothing, so pretty much if you're gonna use it, just grab it and just have your main weapon, like a sniper or a shotgun or anything else, and have that as your gun to kind of take down shields, and then pop your other weapon on, whether it's your Claymore or Wraith, whatever gun, your Saber, your Cerberus Harrier, your Maddock, whatever power punching weapon that you have, you take out the Acolyte pistol, you take down barriers and shields with one shot, you charge it, it takes it down one shot, and then you can go right ahead and use your other weapon. Now, you will continue seeing this. Our strategy is to make sure that we're here, we have our supply pylons providing us a lot of grenades. The moment that the Banshee comes in, we all focus on her, but you see that we allow her to come in. It's kind of like the same tactic that we had on the other video, the other videos that I created. When the Banshees come in, let her come into the room, bring her in, just make sure that you're doing damage to her barriers before she gets in. So like that, by the time she gets in, she's just armor, and we just take her down. We're all focus fire on her, and we make sure we just wail on her. Now, see, one of our buddies got picked up, and unfortunately we were not able to do enough damage to her to kind of drop him, and that's okay. In this situation, like I told you guys before, just make sure that you know where the rest of your team is at. We're all playing tight together, and our buddy 13 Rose is a very good player. It just happens. These things happen. But 13 Rose is definitely a very good player. We had a few good games with him, and we're not worried about it. We just know, hey, it happens. We're just gonna go right ahead and keep on going. He covered us very well on that side. Actually, he was throwing arc grenades and everything. And now, since he's down, my buddy. My other buddy Endo also has his arc grenades going, so we're not losing out on the left side. And at the same time, I'm going back and forth, making sure I'm throwing grenades across the way, because I know that we have one man out. But this strategy actually works very well. And you notice that this is a platinum game, but guess what? It feels like it feels almost like a gold. We're kind of running through it. It's kind of relaxed. We're here, making jokes and just having a good time. And mind you, this was our second run. Our first run did not go well. Because we were just, trying this out for the first time, and we kind of created the strategy. We said, okay, let's try it this way, and it worked out. So right now, as you see, we're just making sure we're sniping anything that's coming our way. And then when we get the Banshees, here we go, throwing arc grenades, taking down her shields, and now she's all armor. Then we got another one. Look at all their barriers are down. So right now, look at that. We have two Banshees, and look how quickly they go down. Between my Typhoon, between the Widow, and between every other weapon that we have right now. And you saw the loadout in the beginning of the map. Also, did you see that, guys? I was I was almost about to die immediately the moment I moved over to the pylon and the Geth. The Geth turret. I got healed. Now, I don't know what happened here, but I got down, and it'll happen. you know. But look what's going on. Also, the game kind of glitched a little bit. If you notice, I have full shields, but my screen looks as if I am dying, which is not true. I don't know why this happened, but hey, you know, it is what it is, and yet we were still able to survive through it. So, anyways, the main strategy is to have a team that can rock the arc grenades. And you know, if you need to use the missile at some moment, you need to use it. Like, she was a little too close to me at this point in time. You know, I had to use it. I do recommend to conserve your missiles for the objective missions. It's just very important. You know, and kind of use a strategy where if you're not using an all biotic team is excellent, because biotic teams can, you know, do biotic explosions, take down Reapers so quickly, and take down pretty much any enemy so quickly. But if you're not doing biotics, like you don't have, you know, you could do this map Hydra like this with, you know, sorry Justicars and somebody else doing warp throw, or using the Phoenix Adepts with Smash. I mean, if you don't have a situation like that, then you could do our strategy here, where we make sure that we're taking down shields immediately, and then just eating down armor as quickly as possible. And you know, as you can see, you know, we're taking them down. We're just, you know, mowing them up, and you know, this is the way it works. You know, I'm making sure I put my pylon here because there's an ammo box really close, and at the same time, you know, I am, you know, I'm taking some grenades from the ammo box. I'm also, you know, okay. So this is the pizza delivery objective. We had our buddy the infiltrator go out, and again, like I've told you guys before, have somebody mid-range. Like, I'm looking at him. I'm throwing grenades, making sure that they're focused on us. You know, he's actually throwing some grenades too. If you can see that. So he's got the object. He's, you know, pushing forward. Where, you know, we're pushing the enemies to, hey, look at us. You know, forget about him. He's not important. You know, look at us. We're you know, we're shooting at you. So we're kind of wreaking havoc on the enemies right now to ensure that he can get through. The good thing is that he's, you know, he's an infiltrator. He's able to cloak and get to the device, and then he can pick up the device and, you know, get it going. So he got the first one. And we came back in. We had a few enemies that jumped into the room because, you know, we're, you know, helping our buddy out and deviating them from, you know, from him to come to us. Now, the other device was actually pretty close. See, our buddy was able to get it. Now what we're doing is just making sure that, you know, we're keeping him covered. He actually got the device. It was very close. He cloaked, he went out there. So in this situation, you definitely want to have like a Korean male infiltrator. I recommend that because, you know, you can cloak, and at the same time you have arc grenades to take down shields. So that's a good recommendation. If you don't use the Korean male infiltrator, you don't have them, then just bring any infiltrator. That's fine, as long as you have a very powerful weapon like a heavy shotgun or a good sniper rifle, and also bear a second weapon. Okay, and put disruptor rounds to make sure that as you're shooting, you're taking down those shields. That is very important. Once the shields are down, these enemies are easier. Here we go. I mean, just look at this. You know, I got disruptor rounds and I have arc grenades going. So, you know, this kind of combination is obviously going to take down the enemies. And again, you know, I don't, you know, I know people say, oh, well, he's got the Typhoon. This is a very powerful gun for these big guys. Yes, it's good for the big guys. Really not good for the smaller mobs, believe it or not. You know, that's why sometimes I'll switch to a sniper rifle, or, you know, switch to you know, a side gun, you know, and throughout my gameplay, because it's just, it takes a little too long to get started, and also it just, spray of bullets is, you know, it's a little too wide for like the smaller guys. I'll still use it on the smaller guys, you know. I just, if I don't have time to kind of switch, but, you know, I definitely recommend another weapon that's a little bit more accurate. But still, it's really good for like the big heavy hitters, you know, the Atlases, the Banshees, you know, the Brutes. This situation, you know, you see again, you know, I'm just taking down shields and revealing the Geth. So again, you know, the kind of strategy you want to take down the shields. You know, get their health out, because once they're, you know, once you're down to their armor or health, then you can go right ahead and just take them out so easily. And we're having fun here, guys. You know, this is actually, you see, it's going pretty smooth. It's actually going well. We've been fortunate enough to get really good objectives. Except for the individual devices, that one just kills me. If you don't have an infiltrator, then, you really have to. It's just a lot of work, and you guys have seen me do it on the previous video, on the other videos. And again, strategy there is just have one guy do it, and one guy mid-range, two guys on the other side of the map, just making sure that you're drawing the enemies to you. That's all you want to do. Just make sure that the person who's doing the devices has a clear, and nobody's paying attention to him. That's what you want. In this situation, I actually came and brought the Crusade sniper rifle. It's a sniper rifle that I rarely use. I like it a lot. It's very powerful, but it's just I don't know. I like using sniper rifles that are a little bit just more accurate. This is a really good gun because it has a area of effect damage, so you really don't have to snipe. You don't have to be an excellent sniper. You just really have to make sure that you're aiming right at the enemy or close to the enemy, and the bullets explode. They have area of effect damage. When you hear people or you see people write AOE, it means area of effect. So that means that they are explosive rounds, and they just do a lot of damage. So I decided to bring heavy weapons. I brought my sniper rifle. This character, the N7 Demolisher, doesn't that's all she's got. She's got grenades, and they're not really a power. So my recharge speed doesn't really matter. I'm going to be depending on my guns for this character. For the infiltrator, you want at least just one weapon that is very powerful. You could use the Piranha, like our buddy 13 Rose is using. You could also use whatever shotgun you want or sniper rifle you want, as long as you make sure you're bearing disruptor rounds, and you're also making sure that you have just some way that you can take down shields quickly. As you can see here, we got a little lucky. A lot of these enemies somehow, I guess the mix of a Prime and an Atlas just was not working there, and that they got caught up. Also, the other thing is, let me reiterate this a little bit. So like that, I don't know if you've. I'm not going to assume that if you've seen this video, you see my other videos. It is very important that you do a weapons check. That making sure that if you use a missile, you always check each wave. Hey, it doesn't have to be each wave, but at least before the objective waves, how many missiles do you have? How many medigels do you have? You're calling it out. Why? Because you definitely want to have missiles for the objective missions. You don't want to use them before. The only time you want to use them is like when I used them before, when I knew that the Banshee was just right in front of me. I was cornered. There was no way. If you're overrun, that is also a good a good time to use them. So the effective use of missiles, effective use of even ops packs is very important, because the moment that you have a Banshee in front of you, or two Banshees in front of you, you want to have those ops packs readily available. If you don't have the Geth turret healing you, or you don't have the supply pylon healing you, you want to have that available to you when you're defeating the big boss enemies. Now, my recommendation is to make sure that you know where your supply pylon is, or your Geth turret is, so that you're constantly healing. And again, the Geth turret should be a support turret. I mean, yes, some people will use it for an offensive situation, but in all honesty, my recommendation is to kind of just cast it. You could cast it at the enemy if you have the flame on it. That is fine. If you cast it at the Banshees, but I definitely recommend to use it defensively, so that as you're fighting the Banshees, that turret is like right next to your teammates, healing them as they're fighting the Banshee. So here we go. We're just going through these waves. We already got we got two objective missions already done, and now we're just running through it. So I have been getting quite a few requests to play after I started posting the videos. By the way, this is really cool. Look at this. Look at my buddy's gun. It's lit up. It's just so cool. But anyways, I've been getting a few requests to play, and I have no problem playing with anybody. I kind of enjoy playing Mass Effect and helping people out. I really do. I mean, that's why I became a squad leader for the Mass Effect N7 Spec Ops community group, because it's just hey, let's have fun. Let's have fun. And I like the community of Mass Effect a lot. It's just everybody's so social. Everybody's really cool. Everybody just wants to have fun and just complete it. It feels great. Like when we completed this mission, we were just like jumping up for joy because we were just like, okay, Hydra done. Defeated Hydra on Platinum. We built a strategy and we got it. We were so excited, but it was so cool. We were just chatting it up and having a good time. So that I enjoy that. But unfortunately, my buddy list is getting so packed up right now. If I can't help you, I do have a link on this video for the community that I'm a part of, and our buddy Hudson N7 has done a great job of setting up this community. So if you want, just join up there, and they might pair you up with me. If not, it's okay. It doesn't matter. I will do my best to play at least one game with you and help you out with Platinum. And so at least you can get some strategies. Right now I'm to the point that I actually know how to farm Platinum really. And what I mean by that, when I say farm, I don't mean this. What I mean by farming is that I already know like the easiest ways to kind of defeat Platinum now. The quickest ways, could do kind of a 20-minute run, or I think that's the lowest I've gotten so far. I got a buddy right now who's done it in less, like 15 minutes around there, but that is a lot of running, gunning, and in all honesty, everybody has to really be really tight on it. And I enjoy just playing. I enjoy just having fun. I mean, yes, doing speed runs is a really great thing, but it's more about, hey, we completed it, we fought, we had a good time together, and we got it done. But anyways, if for whatever reason you can't, you want to have a game with me and you just can't, I'm a really good player, but they're always we have a squad that has really good players also, and we have a community. A Mass Effect community, and we have squad leaders that will definitely help you out. And if you can't play a game with me, I'll definitely be able to get you on with them. But anyways, going back to the gameplay, as you can see, our strategy seems to be sound. Again, this is Platinum, guys. This is Hydra. This is a map that a lot of people fear playing when it comes to like Reapers and stuff like that. And I play Reaper before Platinum came out. I play a lot of Reapers on this map because I liked it a lot, because I like playing against Reapers, and we'll just kind of run around and kill everything else but the Banshee, and that kind of thing. But anyways, as you can see right now, we got another objective, and I believe this is wave 10. Yes, it is, and we gotta go ahead and get the pizza delivery. So what we're doing is, like before, we're making sure that we're deviating all the attention to us. You saw me that I came out of my spot. I went outside, I'm mid-range. I'm going right ahead, I'm making sure that I'm shooting everything that I can to, you see the Atlas is shooting at me. It's not shooting at him. It just decided to come at me instead, and that's okay. And we got Banshees. We got a whole mess of enemies just coming at us. But our buddy, there you go. Our buddy was able to, drop off that first device. And now we're here, I got hit by a Banshee, but you saw I had an ops pack because, I was saving it to make sure that, I didn't need to go down when a Banshee's in front of me, because, that's not a good thing. Well, we don't want our buddies to get picked up. It happens, but, your main goal should be to not let the Banshee pick you up, because, we all want to be supporting each other. You see how quickly we're helping each other out? We're really on top of it. We're calling it out. Hey, I'm about to go down. I got hit by the warp, by the warp. And look at this. Look at how quick the Banshee went down. We're dropping our arc grenades. We're taking, we have disruptor rounds. We're taking down their shields, and we're just handling our business right now. And that was wave 10. We were able to do the objective. I definitely recommend to bring in infiltrators to make it a little easier on the team. We were fortunate that we did not get the escort, but as you guys, I've been able to do the escort on this map. Usually it's the escort starts out where I'm aiming at. You see where that Atlas is at in front of me right there? That's usually where the escort starts on this map. Sometimes it's on the other side, but it starts there. I'm sorry, that's where you're supposed to bring it to, and the escort starts right behind me, so it's kind of like a straight line, a straight shot. If you're already in this room, you activate the escort, and you're just pretty much taking it straight up. So if you get the escort, don't worry too much about it. If you do get the escort objective, then you definitely gotta have missiles. If the Banshee gets close, again, do not shoot missiles unless she is really like right in the circle. And if you get a situation that it's not Banshees and it Atlases are coming at you, well then that's fine. But you can just wait till they get close enough where they're doing so much damage that you can't manage it, because you definitely don't want to go metagelling left and right, and you don't want everybody to get downed. You want to use your missiles in a situation that you can go right ahead and clear out anything that's damaging you, but in reality you just want to make sure you get the objective done as quickly as possible, because if you go and just kill anybody while you're doing the objective, they're just going to keep on respawning. Okay, now if you also get the hack objective, that's one that we got. It's so difficult in this map. The hack objective, you definitely have to make sure that you have your missiles ready, guys, because the hack objective is so difficult. I had it before in this map, and we almost wiped. We almost used all our stuff, and what we learned from that is to make sure that you take some cover. Usually the hack objective is by extraction, which is extremely difficult. But you got to make sure that still you have your missiles, you take cover, and what you want to do, instead of the entire team to go into the hack, have 2 people go into the hack and 2 people either in this part of the map, to just kind of distract the enemies, or or right here where I'm kind of going right now. But this is usually where the hack is at, where extraction. But anyways, as you can see, we were able to make it to extraction. This is a full extraction right now, and this is pretty much how you defeat, Platinum on Firebase Hydra. So my recommendation is take down shields as quickly as possible, have a good team makeup, make sure that you're managing your medigels, your missiles appropriately. Communication is key. And I have 2 people guarding one entrance and 2 people guarding the other, and make sure that when you do the devices, you do them intelligently, with a lot of communication, and you're deviating all the enemies and bringing them over to you. And look, you see right now we have the mission successful screen. We actually did it pretty quickly in I think it was a little less than 30 minutes. And look, our buddy 13 Roses did actually very well. So as you can see, hey, this is all about completion. It's not about who's on top. It's really about the entire team.